Good morning. It is my last morning in Vang Vieng. I am heading to Luang Prabang this afternoon. Well, hopefully. I haven't booked my train ticket yet, and when I tried to book it, it said that online bookings had closed. So I'm gonna hopefully get a ticket at the station. But what I forgot is that today is Saturday, so the train's gonna be a lot busier. So fingers crossed. If not, I did see tickets are available later today, but I really want to be gone earlier than that, to be honest with you. The weather's pretty crappy outside. I also just wanted to talk about something a little bit more serious. Now, I just want to preface that I am safe. Nothing happened to me. This is purely something that I witnessed and I found a little bit distressing. So last night, if you watched my previous video, you would have seen that I went out. And I had a great time with my friends. We were dancing, having fun. Wasn't my typical scene or music, but, you know, I had a good time, a dance. It was fine. As we were sort of getting ready to probably leave, I noticed a girl sitting, like, around near the bathrooms, like, around the back. And she was unconscious. There were two girls around her, like, sort of trying to help her, and I don't know, like, you know, when you just know, like, your intuition. So I went over and I just said, hey, you guys, like, all right? And they sort of said, oh, yeah, we're okay. She just, you know, had a little bit too much to drink. I said, oh, okay, no worries. Are you her friends? And they were like, no, we don't know her. We just found her here. And then what they had managed to figure out is that she had come with friends from her hostel. I don't think she knew them prior to, like, being here. Like, I think she just met them in her room. They'd come to the party together, but they essentially ditched her somewhere. Like, no one knew where they were, no one knew who she was. We'd managed to figure out her name. She was responding to voice a little bit. I was able to get, like, her age, where she was from, that sort of thing. Just, you know, tried to keep her talking type thing. Or trying to get her to vomit. She couldn't hold her head up. Anyway, in the end, like, this went on for, like, an hour or so. Eventually we ended up, like, getting some of the staff from the venue to, like, help us, and they were so unhelpful. They didn't speak much English. They were using Google Translate, but essentially I made the decision, because she had been vomiting, but she wasn't getting any better. If anything, she was getting worse. She stopped responding to voice and she started, like, only responding to pain, which was making me really concerned. And she was very pale. Like, she had a strong pulse though. She was breathing normally. Her heart rate was normal. So I was, like, confident that she was relatively stable, but, like, she wasn't safe, you know. So I was trying to say, I think she needs to go to the hospital, because a lot of people were like, oh, we'll just get her in a cab. We'll get her in a cab and we'll get her to a hostel. She'll sleep it off. But my concern was, this girl cannot keep her head up. Like, even if you lay her on the side, like, no one's going to watch her sleep. No one's going to make sure that she doesn't roll over and aspirate. That was my biggest concern, because she wasn't, like, getting any better. She could not keep her head up. It was getting really concerning. Anyway, so I'm trying to tell the staff, yeah, like, I think we need an ambulance. Anyway, this establishment was selling medication. It was plastered on signs, so it wasn't discreet, and people had said they may have seen her with a certain medication. The venue were clearly very scared of getting in trouble, because medications are very illegal here in Laos. Pretty much what they were translating was, like, if she goes to the hospital, they basically said, we can't call an ambulance. If she goes to the hospital, she'll you know, be arrested. She could be charged, that sort of stuff. And obviously that was a concern. We're in a foreign country. She's just a young girl. So I looked up the laws, and basically it had said that you can be executed for taking medication in Laos. So that was obviously quite frightening, because we're now in this situation, this moral dilemma of this girl who I'm quite concerned about, who needs some medical attention, but the fear is we could send her to get medical attention and potentially arrested. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And the venue were very adamant that something bad would happen if we took her. But the thing that really didn't sit well with me is the venue shouldn't be worried about if someone's going to be arrested, because that doesn't impact them. Their concern is something is going to happen to them. And I started getting really angry at this point, because I was like, you're clearly just trying to save yourself. And I said to them, are you scared she's going to get into trouble, or are you scared you're going to get into trouble? And she laughed. She literally laughed, and I said, this is not funny. I did use a little bit more choice language when I said it to her, because I was absolutely furious. And her and another like staff member were like just kept obviously talking in their own language, and like they clearly just didn't know what to do and were quite scared that they were going to get into trouble. And like the thing was, people were saying, well, let's just get her off site and like call an ambulance. Like if that's what they're worried about, like fine, we'll just take her outside and call one. Like they don't have to know where she's come from type thing. They were still refusing to do that. Like I then at that point was like, that's it. Like I've had enough. Something needs to be done. Because like I said, she just wasn't getting any better. So I ended up trying to call an ambulance myself. I called like the international emergency line, which redirects you to like local authorities. I did that, and it put me through to like the Lao emergency number, because when I initially tried to Google the Lao emergency number, nothing came up. I couldn't figure out the number. So I just called that one. But it basically kind of like hung up on me and just said like, this is not available, or something along those lines. I don't know. So then I was getting really stressed, because I was like, there's not much more I can do. Like I physically cannot call emergency services, and I don't know why. So anyway, this decision was made. They carried her into a tuk-tuk and sent her off to the hospital. So I don't know what ended up happening. I just wanted to come on here and add, it's obviously been some time since that incident happened. I was fortunate enough to actually hear from someone that found out what had happened. She ended up being fine. She wasn't arrested, and she was, treated and discharged from the hospital the next morning. So it was obviously a really good outcome, but it was really frightening. I just think it is so important, especially when you're in a foreign country that has different laws to your own. You need to be really careful. And this is not to victim blame at all. We've obviously all taken a night out a little too far once or twice. But, as people, and I think especially as women, because she was in a very vulnerable situation, someone could have taken advantage of her. We really need to look out for each other, because unfortunately at the end of the day, these people in these places are going to look out for themselves first as their own priority. And yeah, they were just going to leave her there. And that is so, so scary, because what if it was you? What if it was your sister? What if it was your friend? So scary. But this was a good outcome, and I am so relieved, and I'm glad that I have that peace of mind to know that nothing bad happened to her. But yeah, super important reminder to just look out for yourself and others, especially while you're traveling.
Now that all the serious stuff is over, I grabbed a quick omelette at my hotel and headed over to Mix U for dessert. I grabbed an Oreo sundae. It was absolutely delicious, and it was only $1.50.
I've arrived in Luang Prabang. It was a bit of a rush getting here, honestly. So I ordered my taxi, and it said it was like 5 minutes away, but I was waiting. It wasn't coming, and I was getting a little bit stressed because I knew I still had to buy a ticket for the train. So I wanted to get there quite early. Anyway, I'm waiting, and I click on to like contact the driver to call him to be like, hey, what's happening? Like, where are you? And I look, and he's written me a private message, which I must have missed, to like ask for double the price we'd already agreed on. So I said no and cancelled it. So then I had to rebook another one and wait again. So it took so much longer than it should have. Anyway, I got to the train station with about 20 minutes to spare. I went in, I managed to buy a ticket, and then I went through like security and everything. And I think we had like maybe 5 minutes to boarding. So I was getting a bit antsy, and my bag like got flagged. I had to like open up my suitcase. They're like, you have something prohibited item in here. And I was like, oh my God, what do I have in there? Like I literally caught the exact same train 2 days ago and have the exact same stuff in there. Like I haven't bought anything, so I'm not sure what it is. They pulled out like my hairspray. So I had to chuck that, which I was really upset about because how am I going to do my slick backs? She's going to be slick backless for the rest of the trip. So sad. RIP to my hairspray. Anyway, once that was done, I managed to get through. I got onto the platform and then I couldn't find like the ticket. Was really confusing. I couldn't figure out what carriage I was in. And then I found this like American guy who I'd seen around a fair bit in Vang Vieng. And we kept like running into each other and I was like, hey, do you know how to read this ticket? And he figured out that what carriage I was supposed to be in, and he helped me, which was really nice. So that was all good. The train ride was fine. I was only in second class this time. First class was sold out, and to be honest, I probably wasn't going to spend the extra for it because it was like I'd already done it. It was a bit of an experience. I'm happy to choose a cheaper option, and it's only like an hour train ride. But obviously, like no one came and told me when my stop was up. I had to pay attention myself, which is a little bit stressful because there's no service, like I said before, on the train, so you couldn't tell like how close you were, how far away you are, and they don't really tell you what time you're going to get to the stop, so it's a bit tricky. But I got here with no hitches, and then I split a cab with a few girls that I'd met in Vang Vieng, so that was good, made it a lot cheaper.
Obviously, it's time for the room tour. This is her. She was so big. Such a nice stay, honestly. Then I ventured out for a little walk. I was going to grab some lunch and try and grab some tickets for a super popular sunset cruise here on the Mekong. I found them quite easily. It actually is a solar-powered eco-cruise, which I didn't know beforehand. It's the first of its kind in Laos, so that was awesome. I managed to grab a ticket and then I headed to this restaurant for lunch. I grabbed a 3-pork dish. It was delicious. I went back to my hotel, put some more bug spray on and got changed, and I'm all ready for the sunset cruise.
But no comments to you now, which is... Am I also get my picture? Yeah, shall we go and sit right?
Watching the sunset over the Mekong was absolutely unreal. It was just so beautiful and so relaxing. We were given these snacks as part of our ticket and asked to come upstairs, where they gave us this bowl of fish to pop into the tank. We were told that we would be releasing them later into the Mekong to give them new life and new beginning. They then gave us banana leaves to write down our wishes and our burdens. The wishes were going to go into the tank and be released along with the fish for a new beginning, and the burdens would be released on the other side of the ship to rid us of those burdens, which was really cool. After we handed in our wishes and burdens, we were given these bracelets, which was supposed to bring us luck.
Thank you. Wish you a good luck.
Thank you, Kapchai. It was finally time for our wishes and burdens to be released.
5, 4, go away. Whoosh, go away.
That was definitely not what we were expecting, but it was so much fun. We couldn't stop laughing. Afterwards, we checked out the night market. We found this store that was selling key rings that had been recycled from the aluminium found in the bombs that were dropped during the war, which was really interesting. And then I finished off with a banana roti for dinner. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you come back to see what I get up to tomorrow.